This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, you ready, Jen?
Yep.
Okay, it's May the 27th, 2021. This is a special meeting of the Dayton Utility Service Board. This meeting is open for the public to listen in real time and by a recording afterward, and an option has been provided for the residents to speak during the meeting on agenda items. Present on the phone here is, I think Michelle's not here, so our town attorney, Reed Murtaugh, Town Marshal Scott Taylor, and the members of the Town Council that will identify themselves by roll call. Jen,
Here.
Carla,
Present.
Dan,
Here.
Ashley. I don't think Ashley is here. And I'm Ron, so we got 4 members present tonight. First up is utility repayment plans. Reed, you want to explain that?
Yes, thanks, Ron. So we have drafted a resolution based on what other municipalities have done. And last time we talked about what you guys want to do for the terms. So the example that we had was a 6-month period of time. So for 6 consecutive months, the resident would pay in full the sum of the amount billed for the services rendered, charges for most recent month usage for each of the next 6 billing periods, plus an amount equal to 1/6 of the past due amount shown on the current invoice. So basically, it's giving them 6 months to get current. So you guys, we're going to discuss what you guys want to do as far as that term.
Okay. Did you have any more, Reed? Or
no, that's it. I mean, last time,
okay.
There was discussion of whether there would be a different term for people who have higher amounts, like giving them longer periods of time.
Right.
But, yeah. So really just need to open it up for discussion.
Okay, so we need to discuss this and approve a letter and a payment plan. So anybody got any comments or want to start the discussion?
Yeah, I will. I think the 6 months is too short. Some of these people have some I think splitting that amount up to be current on their regular bill, I think is, for some people, maybe too much. I think 6 months just isn't. I think it would be.
Yeah, I think 12 months is okay. 6 months seems a little short.
I'm fine with 12 months, and I do want to mention that I have public comment whenever you get to that for this item.
Okay.
I think 12 months would be okay.
Okay, go ahead with your public comment, Jen.
Okay. Are you there?
It's Bridget.
Yeah. So I don't know if Bridget's speaking as Bridget, Dayton resident, or Bridget, our utility clerk. I'll let her.
Utility clerk.
Okay.
Okay, so as you're aware, there's, a small handful of people that have larger balances, like close to 2,000 or at 2,000, one that's above. If we did that over 6 months, that's $333 a month, and tack on the minimum bill of $79 and change, that's over $400 a month. So I agree with the 12 months.
Okay, good. Thank you for your wisdom. Okay, I guess it sounds like everybody that's talking here, about all of us, agree with 12 months, so that's good. So now, so we should go with that. Now, what about the penalties? Anybody got any suggestions on the penalties?
I kind of do. So I don't think that people that are on the payment plan and following the payment plan should be charged penalties, but I guess it makes it tricky for the people who aren't on a payment plan and then they're late and then they get a penalty, even though like it's their first time being late and these other people have been late for maybe over a year. So I don't know.
May I suggest something?
Yes.
I think that a penalty, even for the people that should be implemented if they don't pay their current bill, because it would be their payment plan amount for their past due amount plus whatever their current bill is. They would have to keep up with that to adhere to the payment plan. Did I hear that correctly?
Say it again.
For the people that are on a payment plan,
yeah,
what we're trying to implement would be break whatever their balance is up into 12 months, and they would have to pay that amount plus keep up on their current bill. Correct?
Right. Yeah.
So if they don't keep up on their payment arrangements, then I think that a penalty should be implemented on their current bill. That's just my thought.
But if they don't keep up with the current and or the back pay, they're breaking their agreement with the town. So therefore, that would make them, if I read the letter, the information properly, that would then make them a candidate to penalties and or to turning off their service.
Disconnect. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I agree.
But do we penalize for the? Go ahead, Carla. Sorry.
That's right. I think, but I don't think assessing penalties during this time, as long as they're making an agreement with the town, we promise that we're going to pay this amount of money, and to continue to assess a penalty on that, just because of everything, whatever the reasons were in the past, we're giving them a chance to make a clean slate here. Nope. And I think assessing additional penalties on top of that is just kind of rubbing salt in the wound. So I think we're giving you a chance for a clean slate. You follow all the rules. You do everything that you signed the piece of paper for, or whatever we come up with, and you follow the rules. And at the end of the 12 months, everything's caught up and no additional penalties, and everything's great, and move forward from here.
So, Carla, you're saying as long as if they come up and they owe $40 a month plus their present bill, and as long as they pay it, there's no penalties. But if they don't pay that and keep current, then there is a penalty, right?
Right. There would be whatever penalty would be assessed for,
right.
I presume, their current bill, and then they've already broken the agreement. Now, I don't remember reading if there was. I don't know if it's a one-time deal, if it's we give them leniency and you bring it up to date now, and we follow through with the contract. I don't remember seeing anything like that. It sounds to me like what I read that Reed sent. You mess up once and you're out. Is that correct, Reed?
Yes.
Okay.
Any breach or non-payment just triggers that provision in Section C, which allows the town to follow a normal disconnection policy.
Right, which I think that's penalty enough. Disconnect. So,
right.
But that's just my opinion.
Are we currently charging any penalties?
No.
No.
Okay. Are we planning to start? for people who are not on our payment plan.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is there a way for people have to get on the payment plan by like whatever that date is, and then they don't get penalties as long as they stay on a payment plan. But then for new people like that start getting behind, do we give them some sort of grace period and give them a payment plan? Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, based on, what Reed sent in the proposed resolution, what I'm reading is that people are behind. We're basing it due to COVID and everything that happened due to COVID, which is an unusual event. And so I think somebody new moves to town, they're here for 6 months and they start getting behind, the penalty still stands. Those are still the same because they're not in an agreement. They're not signing up for this contract to get my old bill paid up and keep current with my new bills, and they're not in a current contract with the town for that. Does that am I saying that right?
I get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying, but I feel like that's like not a reward, but it's almost like giving favor to those people that have fallen behind for however long, and then, if somebody falls behind now, like, sorry, you don't get a deal, you don't get a payment plan. I don't know.
Stan, what are your thoughts on all this?
I was just thinking, the people that have been past due before COVID started, their past due amount includes penalties, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, those penalties would still have to be paid, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think we should charge penalties if they're in the plan, but if they drop out of the plan, I think then the penalties would revert back to the beginning of their plan.
Right. And I agree with that. I think if I'm understanding Jen's question, she's saying, what if somebody's been here, they've been keeping things up, they kept everything paid up through COVID, and we start this contract, and now it's 6 months later. So let's say that we put this in effect to start July 1. And so now it's December 1, and somebody's fallen on some hard times, or they're just having some issues. The normal process is you get a penalty for your late, you get a penalty the next month, and then, disconnect, correct? And so Jen's saying, what about them? She's saying she thinks it might be unfair to those people to not offer them a repayment plan. Am I hearing you correctly, Jen?
Yes. Like, do we give those people that fall behind the opportunity, not for 12, like, let's say they fall behind in, 4 months after we start the 12-month period. Do we give them 8 months? Like, do we give them till the end of that 12 months also to catch up?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what if anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, but if we put an end date to this contract, the contract ends, say, if we start at July 1 and it ends June 30 of 2022, I'm just making up dates, guys. So, but that's a full 12 months. So somebody falls behind within that time frame, we could still offer them the contract, but they still have to be paid up and current, and everything ends, the contract for everybody ends on June 30, 2022.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Kind of,
Then everybody has one chance to spread their payments if they run a little behind, but one chance. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It needs to be like one-time deal. Like if you don't keep the agreement, then you don't get a second agreement, whether there's, 6 months left, until
Right.
June 30th, 2022 or whatever.
And then if somebody is just behind by 1 month, are we still going to assess penalties to them, or we're not assessing any penalties to anybody for that 1 year period?
I thought if they break their contract,
No,
somebody
I'm
pays
not
it.
talking. I'm not talking about if they, the people who, if they choose to make a contract, but if they fall behind, if they're late, or do we assess the penalty?
I think
I
Yeah.
get what
so.
you're saying,
That's
like
just my-
before they get on the plan or whatever.
Right. So, like you said, 4 months down the road, and then they're late, and then they're late again. Do we make contact and offer them the contract option anytime during the 12 months, or do we just assess the penalty and see if they come to us? I mean, I don't know.
It seems like if they get a month behind, then you give them the choice to enter a contract and get that brought up, by dividing, you give them it to one time, and then they wouldn't, if they stick to their contract, they wouldn't be getting any penalties either, just like the original people. But
that's
Yeah.
something they'll reach out to us for, or do we reach out to them?
I would think we would reach out to them because I think I assumed that we would be reaching out to everyone now to let them know that this is the deal, like sending a letter that says this is the deal with your account. This is the
Yeah.
plan.
so that
I would think that
everybody's
if
notified.
falls behind in the future, we could reach out to them.
So we would send a letter to everybody, to every household in the town, or only to those who are behind currently?
I would think only to those who are behind currently, and then
Right,
those
okay.
that may fall behind in the future would also get an opportunity to.
Yeah.
Then we could reach out to them. Yeah, then we'd reach out to them. Okay, that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fair to
I
everybody.
have a question. So if the board agrees to start assessing the late fees, say come July bill, then should that be something like that we put in the reminder portion of the bill? Or is that something that you want me to it be an additional, letter included in with their bill?
Are you talking about the payment plan? Like to explain that?
No, just general, because for the past year since COVID,
Oh.
no late fees assessed to let the public know effective July bill.
Yeah,
Well, we'll
that
have
would
to let them
be
know.
For sure. Well,
Yeah, you need to notify
Too
them.
late.
that's a good point.
To add, it's too late for me to add an additional document into the July or into the June bill because of all of that stuff that I had to put in there for Mark.
yeah.
Right.
What I can't remember the name of the report.
Right.
That's like I think 7. It's 4 total pages, 3 front and back, and 1 single-sided page. That's going to be in with this next round of bills for June.
Right.
So maybe
And-
in the your portion of the June bill, we could say effective, July's bill, we will start assessing late fees in the reminder portion of the bill.
Yes.
And then when we send the July out, it can be in an additional document attached. Does that
Right,
make
and we
sense?
can post. Right, and we can also post it on the website and let everybody know that's the. Again, presuming it's July, I don't even know whether we'll have it ready for July 1. You see what I mean? I was just throwing out
just
dates.
whenever it is ready.
Right. So
That
it's
way
possible it's possible we would wait until August 1st and the July bill for the notification about that. So
Okay.
is that, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
I
good.
don't know. Do we know a start date? I mean, I don't know how soon this can all be ready. So
Let's
Should
shoot
be
for
anything-
July, for August.
Say that again, Stan?
Let's do it at 1st of August. That gives us 2 months. We should be able to get everything done by then.
Sounds good. Okay, so we got the basic idea, and we've Reed, are you taking all this in? You sort of get the gist of it here, so you can work
Yeah.
on finalizing
So
the
I just wanted to-
resolution.
I just want to remind everyone that there is a draft letter already in the materials from AIM that stresses some of this that would go out to anyone regarding repayment plans. And then we would just need a separate letter regarding the notice of charging late fees.
Okay.
And we can have the ordinance and all that done by the 1st of August.
Yeah, the ordinance already drafted. I mean,
yeah,
the
we would
resolution's
need
already
that
done.
done. Yeah, we'd need that done and approved so that we'd have time to get everything ready and out in the July bill and time to contact those people who are behind so that they have time to sign the contract, that they would begin their contract effective August 1st.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just need to complete the letter and the contract. We just have the examples for those now that we know the terms.
Okay.
And pass the resolution at the next meeting.
So that'd be June. And then, yes, okay, yeah, that'd still work. Yeah, cool.
Okay, so who?
And then, so then on the contract read, that's something that Bridget would need to do as far as contacting those people. Do they want to be a part of participate with contract, and then creating something that resembles the contract that you have in here, the payment plan, meaning here's your monthly bill, here's your payment plan. You owe this much this month plus your current charges, whatever those current charges would be that month. Correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So at the June meeting in a couple weeks, we'll pass the resolution, and in that time, we'll get the letter that's getting sent out and the contract, and put the notice on the website and put the notice on the utility bills that late fees and shutoffs are coming. So then when people get their July bills, they can also get the letter and the contract. So then by August 1st, it'll be due to be signed. Is that the time frame?
I don't think the contract would actually go out in the mail. I think that would be Bridget would contact them during July, the people who are all behind, and give them the option, and then either they can come in and sign it, or she can mail it to them individually. And I wouldn't go out just with.
Yeah, so this example is a letter dated August 18th, 2020. And then it says, remember to take advantage of the repayment plan option. Your signed agreement must be in our office no later than Friday, September 4th by 3:30 p.m. So we just have to pick those. We send out the letter first to everyone, and then if they want to opt in, then they have to, complete the contract by a certain date. We just get to pick those times.
Well,
Right,
you're saying send everything to them, whether they're behind or not.
I don't
You're
think
saying
we
you
need
feel
to send to anybody that's not behind.
Yeah, because we're going to send a separate notice, Carla, to everyone regarding disconnections and late fees.
Okay, anybody got any more questions? I think we sort of got a plan.
I'm still not 100% sure about our time frame. Like, do we need to decide when?
Yeah, we haven't picked a date yet.
Right.
We need to pick, I mean, we don't have to decide today, but we need to pick the date when, we're going to send the letter, and then a separate date for when the signed contract is due. But,
Okay.
you're giving people 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however we want to do that.
Okay.
You want to?
So if you want to do August 1 as the date that everyone has to sign, then we just have to back up, and pick a time in July that we're going to get this letter sent out.
Do we want to pick a
Okay.
time in July now, or?
I think the earlier we can get it in people's hands, the better.
Okay, name a date.
I mean, can we do it before August 1st? I just was thinking that might be the earliest we could, but I don't, because June bills would be due July 1st, right?
Right.
End of June.
And by the time we have our June meeting to pass this resolution, it would be too late. That's why I was thinking August would be the earliest. So can we just have the June meeting? I think our June meeting is June 12th, I think. And as soon as we pass the resolution, we just send the contract and send the letters in.
Send them when?
June 15th. Like as soon as we can, as soon as we pass this resolution at the June meeting.
Yeah, that should be
And
okay.
give people a month and a half, or is that what you're saying? They
Well,
have till
if
August
we
1 to
send
give it back? Or?
If we can send the letters and the contract, right after our meeting on June 15th, then we could have them have the signed contract back by June 30th so that this could start July 1.
Are you wanting that's fine with me, but I don't know. Are you wanting the letters go out with bills?
No, I think they'd be separate. I mean, they might get them about the same time. That was just my thought.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think that's.
Stan, is that okay with you? You had mentioned August. If we can get everything done and move it up a month.
Yeah, if we can do it a month, but if we don't think we can do it, I don't want to have to postpone it. I would rather
To give people longer than 15 days to get it back, because what are you going to do?
I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially around July 4th. So maybe we do what you said, Jen, but give them more time. Like they have till July 15th or July 10th or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So we're still sticking with starting August 1st on the contract. August 1, 2021 through July 31st, 2022.
Right.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh, we'll need them to have it signed before that due date.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Okay, everybody.
So send the letter as soon as we can after the June meeting, and then have them signed by July. I don't know how much time would be appropriate.
Well, how let's ask Bridget, how long is she going to need to get those things set up for those people that return them from, let's say everybody brings theirs in on the last day. How long do you need to get that set up in time to begin August 1st?
Probably just a couple of days.
Okay. So if we say July 15, that gives them almost a month to make up their mind, and then that gives Bridget plenty of time to get everything set up and established. Right?
Yes, that's fine. Okay, so when are we assessing the contracts for the people that are behind and late fees are all going to happen basically in the August billing cycle? Is that what we're saying?
Like their bill they will have to pay by August 1st? Or what do you mean by August?
When will we, well, bills are always due the last day of the month.
I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, okay.
When
Right.
will
So
we?
I think we would tell them in July that starting August 1, penalties will begin again, and then the contracts also would begin August 1st. So then it all lines up together.
Well, if we say in July, if they get their July bill and they see that effective on the reminder portion of the bill, effective basically, August 1, you will receive a late fee if your bill is not paid on time. Or are we sending them for the July bill so they're aware that, if I don't pay my bill with this next bill, like they'll get their bill in July and they'll see that reminder and they'll know I got to pay my bill on time. Is 2 weeks enough notice for people to realize that my bill is due on the last day of the month? I have to pay a late fee.
We want to tell them in July, and then we'll remind them in August. In July, we'll say effective August 1st, penalties will begin being assessed if you pay your bill late with your August bill. Then you can remind them in August, remember, penalties will begin effective with this bill.
Okay.
All right, we're saying that penalties are through August 1, but it's really at the end of August if you don't pay the late fees charge.
Okay.
And we need to be clear that penalties include shut-off.
Right. Penalties and disconnects.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we're all fine with this then?
Yep.
Can we move on to sidewalks? Okay, we need to do the sidewalk ordinance, and I think everyone agrees that we need a cost share program for the sidewalks in town that the town agrees need to be replaced. I've seen other towns that are going 50-50 with a cap on the total square foot, and I think that's fair. Anybody got what are your thoughts on this?
Well,
Mark, go ahead, Carla.
Mrs. Reed need to tell us anything about what these are just examples that you sent us.
Yeah, Reed, you got any suggestions here or comments?
No, I mean, I just forwarded the 50-50 share that the town of Munster did. I mean, one part of it is, what sidewalks are we talking about? So, section 1 of their ordinance says the 50-50 public sidewalk replacement program only applies to the replacement of existing substandard sidewalks and does not apply to construction of new sidewalks or to private sidewalks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. The current town ordinance just says that it's all on the resident. If the town determines that or if the town council says the sidewalk is substandard, they can notify the resident, ask them to repair it. If they don't, they can do it on their own and then assess them. So, this is
So we would be
deviating from our ordinance so that we're going to a 50-50 cost share, because it's unlikely that we're going to be able to, actually recover all 100%.
Are we doing
And
that?
Go ahead, Carla.
Are we doing that only if the resident comes to us? Are we going to, like, it sounds like, I mean, they did some sort of sidewalk study and came up with something similar we have to the streets here in town and assessing, the 4 or 5. Are we going to look at that way and assess them ourselves? Or we're just going to leave it up to the resident, my side in bad shape, but I want to fix it. Will you guys pay that? I mean, we'll now put this in and we pay based on what Mark told us, what he presented was that it was $7 a square foot on what we would pay. Correct?
Correct. No, it was $7 a square foot from tearing it up to replacing it and everything, and the town would pay $350, 50%.
Right. But are we? I mean, from what I read in here, we can determine if the sidewalk is bad until the owner gives it notice, and then we're going to do it and tell them that they have to pay half of it.
Yeah.
Are we doing it? Are we going to consider that, or are we only if they come to us? Are we going to do that?
It's always been in the past. This town has never really gone out and tried to make people replace sidewalks. This is more because some people are replacing them, and
right.
When they come to the town, we need something that we can offer them. So,
okay.
Now, if we see something that should be replaced, we could go to them and say, we got a 50-50 split. Would you guys consider doing it? But it would have to be pretty bad for the town just to go up and demand that they have to replace their sidewalk. Because even at half price, it can be pretty expensive, So
I'm really not necessarily in favor. Just from what I was reading, that's what this particular ordinance has, and so I wasn't sure after everybody else read it how they felt about it.
Right.
That's what we wanted to do. Let
me just read that section for how they have it. So section 2, identification of sidewalks for replacement. Substandard sidewalks in need of replacement or repair shall be identified in one of 2 ways: town identified hazards and or resident requests. Residents may notify the town of substandard sidewalks and request repair or replacement through sidewalk replacement applications. And then there's a separate section regarding an appeal. So an owner of an address may petition the town manager to delay repairs by up to 12 months. Costs associated with repairs will be at the contracted price for that construction season. Owner shall remain liable for any instance of injury or notice of tort claim resulting of the failed sidewalk.
But that would only be if we went to them and said you have to pay half versus, I mean,
if
I don't
you
think
have
that
to
we
repair. Yeah. So that's like a town identified hazard.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't sound like that's really what we're wanting to do as a general rule, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we just want to offer people willing to
prefer that they come. I prefer that they come to us and say, "Here's what I want to do," and we're able to help them, rather than us go to them and say, "Hey, we're going to make you pay some money."
Yes. Stan, Jen, you got any thoughts on this?
I agree with that, but I do think having the section in there that says if we identify a major hazard that it needs to be addressed, we ought to have that option.
That's fair.
Yeah, we can give them the option.
I think that. Yeah, I think you're right, because it's already in the town code that you have that authority.
Yeah.
And you can put it all on the resident. So what's changing is, now you have the ability to do the 50-50 share. If you're going there and saying that a hazard has to be replaced.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly what Reed said. We're only changing this for the better, because right now any council could say, hey, we're going to fix your sidewalk and you're going to pay for it. But we're not doing that. But we are saying, it still gives us the option to do that, which we're not. But if anyone wants to fix their sidewalk, because it's messed up, the town will say half. But I did wonder, do these sidewalks need to be ADA compliant, or sidewalks that are end at a curb? Like, do we have to put a ramp? Who pays for that ramp, if so?
Well, I think if you got to put a ramp in, the town should pay for it. If we require a ramp, we should probably pay for it. ADA, I think when Mark was talking, all of these, that estimate is for doing an ADA compliant sidewalk, which I think is 4 foot, but might be 5.
I see.
I thought it went to 4 foot from 3, but whatever, it's got to be ADA compliant, and that cost would cover that, Mark said.
But then if there's something like extra, then the town would pay 100%? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if they have a sidewalk that just goes across 2 sides of their property, we go 50-50. But if we demand they do some big $88,000 corner, ugly looking thing like's been done on some of these streets, I don't think it's fair for us to push the homeowner to do that. That would be sort of our wishes. I think we go with the standard thing, and the big extras are sort of up to the town.
Yeah, the curbs are more like a road repair. Right.
Okay.
And I think those ones up on Harrison stuff, those corners cost, I think they cost $800 or $900, Mark, or somebody said. And I mean, they look terrible. Nobody likes them, and they're almost more hazardous than just a flat sidewalk. But anyway, it would be unfair for those homeowners to have to pay for that. So.
Yeah.
What about driveways? I mean, not the driveway, but like the as you enter in. Would we be doing that?
This is just the sidewalk, I think, and the driveway as you enter in or past the sidewalk is still up to them, I think.
That's what I would think too.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, well, any more comments, or is there any public Jen, you got anybody in the public that's got any comments? Or?
Nope.
Okay, so we all sort of agree then, I guess, the 50-50 and what Reed came up with, what Mark came up with, the $7 a square foot. So our portion would be $350 and the residents would be $350, and then every year or two that can be tweaked and check on new estimates. The
$7 per square foot, the town portion would be $350, but if the resident pays more than $7 a square foot, then their portion isn't going to be $350. It's going to be more.
That's up to them. Yeah.
Okay, but we're capping it at the town paying $350 a square foot.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I said that wrong.
Okay. Okay, I was just making sure.
Okay, so Reed, you got enough information here to finish. We'll have it ready at the next meeting then, or?
Yeah, I'll prepare a resolution with your information and send it to you guys for your review.
Okay, Great, great. So, okay, we got any public comments at all on anything on utilities? It's on our agenda. If
I didn't
not,
have anyone contact me for
okay,
public comment, and there's no one
okay.
on.
If not, council comments, any from the council for utilities?
Nope.
No, I
Jen?
have nothing. Nope.
Okay, I've always got something. I want to say, since this will probably be our last telephone meeting, I want to pause here for a second to thank Jen Manango for organizing these telephone meetings. We were thrown into this pretty much without notice, and now, more than a year later, we can be proud of offering remote meetings for over a year that were always open to the public. This entire time, Jen has made it possible for the public to not only listen, but to also offer comments if they wanted to. Thanks, Jen, for always doing an awesome job for the town and for always thinking and making things transparent. You've done a great job, and I thank you for all your efforts.
Oh,
So
thanks.
you're welcome. So that's all. If no more comments, then I adjourn this meeting and turn over to Jen.
Thanks. It's May 27th, and this is a special meeting of the Dayton Town Council. Ron made the opening statements and took roll call at the beginning of the utility meeting, so we'll proceed with our town attorney, town marshal, and 4 council members still on the phone. First on the agenda is in-person meetings. So at our last meeting, we decided to meet.
Jen, I have one thing. Can we just amend this agenda to add the TAP law firm contracts?
Yeah, do you want to do that first?
Sure. Okay, so the Dayton Police Department needs representation, and because of the nature of the proceedings, there'll be 2 roles where the town attorney can't serve both. So I have researched and been in contact with people who have experience and basically like helped me find an attorney who has significant experience handling police disciplinary matters. So I have recommended to engage their services. So it's attorney Beth Copeland with Taft Law Firm. And so I would ask for approval for just the appropriations of that contract. The town council won't be party to the contract. It'll just be signed by Marshall Taylor. But the funding for it needs to be approved. Basically, just need a vote to ratify the approval of the funding for that contract.
So we just need a motion to approve the appropriations for Taft Law Firm. Or do I need to word it as a
And
ratification?
I would go ahead and say that you're authorizing Marshall Taylor to sign the contract on behalf of the town too. You're ratifying that action.
Okay. I move to allow Marshall Taylor to sign the contract with Taft Law Firm.
I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Stan to allow Marshall Taylor to sign into a contract with Taft Law Firm. Is there any further discussion before we take a roll call vote? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Hey, Jen.
Yep. Yes.
I got. I don't know. I didn't know at a work session like this we could actually vote on something, but maybe we can. It seems like
I mean,
This
to
is
address
a
that
special meeting.
question, this is a special meeting.
Okay, but it seems like this is, so everybody knows, it's $430 an hour, and I don't know. Maybe I'm way behind on legal fees, but it seems like a extremely a lot amount of money. Now, I don't care if she's done a little work and we have some initial phase to we need to give her the okay to do if we started something, but I think we ought to look around and see if there's somebody, and maybe I'm wrong, and this is nothing against Reed or anybody, but it seems to me like there ought to be somebody out there that can handle this thing a little bit cheaper. I mean, that's extremely lot of money. I haven't really had time to think much about it, but I don't know. That's just my comment.
Yeah, and I would just say, Ron, that I do have experience in serving as corporation counsel to engage outside counsel, and you have to pay market rate for the specific skill and experience that you need, and so it's not this is not something that is not unprecedented. You know, Sometimes work's done by me at a reduced rate of 200 an hour. Sometimes it's in the range of 275 to 350 an hour when we're engaging outside counsel. But anytime that it's an Indianapolis firm that's one of the large firms, like we've engaged Ice Miller, and that's just their rates have been in the range of 400 to 500 an hour. And I mean,
Right.
if there was an attorney who I felt would have been a lot better option at a lower cost, I certainly would have recommended them. But it's just the nature of this. And the other part of it is I think we need to confirm, but I believe that the fees can be paid out of the police budget.
I'm sorry, out of what?
The police budget.
Oh, I do have another question. So I'm new to this game. I don't know exactly why he needs a separate attorney, but approximately how much time do you think she's going to have to put into this for him? Well, just a ballpark. I'm not going to hold your fire if you're wrong. I'm just saying the ballpark.
Yeah. So
2-3 hours. 500 hours.
Yeah. So it's basically a full trial that's going to happen if it goes to a hearing. So the process that would need to be completed would be basically where Marshall Taylor would present the case, and his attorney would serve as a prosecutor, essentially. They will have to subpoena documents, subpoena witnesses, and basically go throughout the same steps as if they were doing this in a trial court. And the town council will need representation during the hearing to advise them and rule on objections, and basically serve as the judge. The attorney for the town council will be responsible for sending out notices of the hearing and writing findings of facts and conclusions of law, which is the role of a trial court judge. So, this is something that doesn't happen frequently regarding the Dayton Police Department, but in other larger municipalities, they have a lot of this already set up. Like they have merit commission or safety boards, with people who handle these because they have this occur more frequently. So it's not it's not going to be a simple hearing. If this actually goes through the full hearing, I can't really give you a good estimate because it's new to me. But there's going to be significant cost
Awesome.
if the full legal process plays out. But I don't know if an actual hearing will be needed. I don't know if there would be additional legal, steps taken to appeal to the trial court, after that step.
So you would be representing us, the town council.
Correct.
That's it. Those are my only questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. This motion, we need two separate motions, right, Reed? This motion is to allow Marshall Taylor to sign the contract, and then we'll do another motion to approve the appropriations. Is that correct?
I think you can do that all in one motion, but whatever you prefer.
Okay, well, I already
What?
made this motion, so we'll stick with this one, and we'll do another one to approve the appropriation. Okay.
Sounds good.
So this
Jen, could I comment? This is Scott.
Yes, you can.
Just for further information, this attorney is going to be utilized for this situation only, and there is a little bit of a time frame boundary that we have to adhere to. So this is not something that we can research for months. We have some time constraints. Having said that, after this incident is concluded, which will probably be in a month, then those services will no longer be utilized. This is not a continual attorney on file for the police department in perpetuity. So I just wanted to make that clear that that wasn't what the request was for. That's all.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So where are these time constraints coming from? Why are we under these time constraints?
Reed, can you explain that?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, we just have to follow the legal requirements of giving due process, giving notice. Basically, it's very simple. We need to have experienced counsel so that everything is done legally, and regardless of what is decided, that there's no mistakes made that would cause there to be some kind of a legal challenge down the road.
Okay. Could you send me something to explain in detail what constitutes these time constraints? I'm just curious. I'm just wanting to understand where they're from, why they are there, who set them up, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I can send you the state code. So there's a specific state code regarding deputy marshals. Yeah,
that'd be great. Thanks.
Their attorneys, requested a hearing. So I'd be happy to send all that to you.
To save some money, can I send the town code or the Indiana code to save Reed to save us from paying Reed to send it?
Well, I don't care. I just want to read it. I just want to see it.
Okay. I don't think it would take Reed long, but save our nickels where we can.
Yeah, that's fine. Just send the right one, Tim.
I'll just send the entire Indiana code and be like, it's in here somewhere, Carla.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay. Anyone else before we vote? Okay, this motion was for Marshall Taylor to be able to sign the contract with Taft Law Firm. So we will take a roll call vote. How do you vote, Ron?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I, Jen, vote yes. So that passes 4-0. So now I would move to approve appropriation for this work that will be done or has already been done.
I second it.
Okay. There's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Stan to approve the appropriations needed. Is there any discussion before we vote? Ron, you always have something. Okay. No discussion. We'll vote. Okay, this is to approve appropriations for Taft Law Firm. Ron, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I, Jen, vote yes. So that passes 4-0. Anything else with that, Reed?
Yes. So we'll need to schedule a hearing. I believe you guys want to do it at a separate meeting from the regular meeting. And the council, the attorneys for both sides have asked if everyone would do it on Tuesday, July 20th. So if you have a conflict, just let me know. Obviously, Ashley's not here, so I'll have to get with him. Or if you have any other, you know, no time set yet, but the day is Tuesday, July 20th. I don't have a time yet, but probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
So just let me know if you have any conflict with the 20th, or if you have like any vacation scheduled or anything like that. We're trying to get a hearing scheduled in July.
Okay. You want us just to email you with the dates that don't work? Or are you wanting us
Yeah.
to now? Okay, we'll email you then.
That'd be great.
Okay. Was that it?
Yes.
Okay. So now we'll move on to in-person meetings. So our first in-person meeting, we are planning for June. We'll have limited attendance, and I called the health department to see what they said. They said pretty much they'll always recommend masks, but you know, it's up to us. So they can decide whether we want to require people to wear masks or not. But we need to decide everything else that goes along with it, I guess. Do we want people to wear masks? Do we not? How are we gonna, if there's more people that want to see the meeting than can be in the meeting with the chairs distance, and how do we allow people in? Do we just, you know, have them line up at, you know, a half hour before the meeting and the first people there get to come in? Oh, and also, I guess I could let Reed explain this. If I get it wrong, stop me, Reed. But we do need to make sure that we are still allowing people to participate. So we'll still need to allow people to sign up to speak on an agenda item. And if by chance they don't get in the building because it's already full, then we need to make a way for them to still be able to come in during that agenda item and speak. So like if we just have them outside in their car, and then when we get to that agenda item, we call them in and we, you know, wipe down a seat for them and let them in for that agenda item, we still need to make sure that people are able to speak. Well, if we're going to let people speak, then we need to make sure we're letting everyone have a chance.
So does somebody leave for that person to come in?
So I don't know, like maybe we just keep a chair open so that we can keep wiping it down. Like if there's more than one person that wants to speak, that way they can just swap out.
So what's our max seating capacity going to be?
Well, we went up there and distanced the chairs, and I think we will have 10 seats for the public. Is that right, Ron?
There was 12 chairs for the public, and as far as swapping out that chair, at the end of the hallway where Scott will stand, and direct people in and out, if there's somebody that had to come in from the outside, it seems like he could step back, let that person proceed up, and that's sort of the podium area, so you could still, they would stand, they wouldn't need a chair to sit in, and they could speak from there.
Okay.
Because that spot is 6 foot distance from the other chair, so then Scott could stand 6 foot back behind him, and that way you wouldn't have to lose another chair. But there's 12 chairs, 12 other than the council and the clerk and the lawyer and everything like that. So
I need one spot for the camera for recording the meeting.
there's 12 other spots.
Okay. Good. So there's 12, not 10. I think that's good to not necessarily have a chair there.
That was more than we thought we could originally get up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I talked to Rhonda Cook at AIM, and she said that I think that's similar to what the General Assembly's been doing, like wiping down, letting multiple people come up and speak and just wiping surfaces down. But if we're going to limit attendance to 12, in addition to allowing someone to come in who's on the agenda item, we just need to also continue to provide the same electronic virtual access that we have, so that people who are not able to come in at all can still view and participate in the meeting, just like they always have been. So we're going to have to kind of do a hybrid until we can get everyone into the in-person meeting.
Do you mean to call in like we do now, or is
yes,
the live stream on Facebook and YouTube sufficient?
Well, it depends on what you're going to do with the live stream. I think that people who cannot physically come in still need to have the same access. So, they need to be able to view really all they need to be able to do is to have access to a live stream. They don't, we really don't need any comment. They don't have to comment, as long as they're allowed to, we make room for everyone to come in and comment in person.
Okay, so I'll have it live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. So we'll do away with the go-to meeting call in. That's all.
Now, when you do that, there will be no comments allowed though online.
Right. We'll still have them comment. They can still come in and comment.
They would just need to let you know ahead of time that they want to. Correct.
Right. And the other thing is, I think we're going to have to require signups as far as who can attend. So, like, first preference would be people who have signed up to speak on an agenda item, and then we should probably just require people who go through sign-ups, and then we're going to have some kind of determination of, if 15 people sign up and we only have 12, how do we determine that? On an ongoing basis. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the toughest thing that we have to address.
For sure.
Probably just like random draw.
So
Random draw.
Yeah.
Who?
People who have signed up. Like if we have 15 names and we only have 12 spots, we have to somehow determine who's not going to be able to attend.
So I was thinking that it's just because some people want to attend, but they may not comment and may not have a comment. And I don't want
Right.
to exclude them just because they may not be commenting. So I was thinking, like, I don't know the best way to do it, but in my mind, what I came up with was the doors open at, like, for a 7 o'clock meeting, the doors open at 6:50 or 6:45 or whatever we think, 6:55, I don't know. But then whoever's at the front door in line, the first 12 of them get a seat. But then you have people that, like, maybe they just got off work and they can't, I don't know. I don't know, like, the best, clearest way to do it.
I think a sign up is going to be better than just who shows up at the door first.
Well, then who does the random draw for the sign-ups? Because I don't know. Like, do you do it ahead of time then?
Here's what I think. You get a list of names. I presume they have a deadline that they would have to get their name in by. Get the list to Bridget and let her draw the names out of the hat. So then that way no council member has anything to do with who gets selected in.
That's a lot to ask of Bridget. But that's like, do we do it like right then when 15 people are standing there, or?
Depends on what kind of deadline you put on it. If you put the deadline by noon of the meeting day, then she gets the list, and by 2 o'clock, she's got the names posted, or you can have the names posted of the names that she drew out of a hat. If there's 15 names, she draws 12 names.
The only thing is, I don't know. I feel as though there are some people that may attack Bridget or say Bridget's lying, or I just don't want to put that on her for her to be like a target for anybody to say Bridget did wrong.
Let the marshal do it.
Or maybe Bridget and the marshal, or
two people do it together. Person, yeah, I'm fine with that.
What would be wrong with like every meeting we've always had in this town hall, whether it's 10 people in there or 20 people, it's never held during all our meetings before. People are standing outside. What's wrong with first come, first serve?
Yeah.
It seems like it would be the more people that really wanted to be there would make the effort and get up and come up there. And it was like when we had the meetings on the housing additions and all that, there's people that couldn't get in and they had to wait and they had to come in. And remember, anybody that's not physically sitting in that room can be outside in their car or wherever and then come in at a time to speak. Everybody's invited.
That's what I was, yeah.
So, and then it takes away from, I don't care who picks it out. It takes away from any of this. Well, he picked this, and a council member told him to pick that, and his fingers were sticky, and all this stuff. I don't know. That just seems like we should do it like we've always done it.
So if we go with that option, I guess my question is, who's gonna be there? 6:50 to monitor who's been there first and all that.
Well, Scott's our security, and I'm sure he would be able to handle that like every meeting in the past. You know, he's there early, and he's the one that takes care of the security part. So.
What do you say, Scott?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the way I'm hearing this, the 12 seats are going to be for people who are not on the agenda and who do not plan to speak. And that speakers will be waiting in another area for their turn on the agenda or for their comment to be heard. Is that what I'm hearing? Unless there are seats available.
We're not saying that you have to be on the. We're not saying you have to be on the agenda or not on the agenda. I think what Ron's saying is, if you're one of the first 12 people, then you get in whether you're going to speak or not. And then if you are going to speak and you didn't get one of the 12 seats, then you will be outside or in your car or whatever.
Okay.
Some will speak and some won't.
Okay, so regardless of what your purpose is, the first 12 will get seats.
Yeah.
Just like at the other meeting. Yeah.
Okay. So then we would say, if you're number 15 and you come up to the door and say, well, I'm on the agenda tonight and I have to speak, and then we will take their number and tell them they can wait outside or someplace else, and they'll be notified when their turn is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know we'll let the president know where and who is here. It's on the agenda.
So people on the agenda will need to get like their cell phone number or email.
Yeah. Okay.
And they can also, Jen, is this right? They can also call in from home and speak, right? Or like we do now? No. Okay. So they got to come up with
a meeting because it'll be streaming.
Yeah. Okay. So they. Of course, will.
What about people who want to submit a written comment to be read?
Oh yeah, anyone's always welcome to do that, for sure.
Okay.
Something we will need to address to make sure we look at is who comes in the back door. A lot of times it's pretty much free run coming in or out the front or the back door. We'll have to make sure everybody who is not on the council or the clerk doesn't come through that door.
Yes, absolutely. There's nobody waiting in the building ahead of time or anything. It's at the front door when the door's open.
So I think we need to keep that door locked as normal so that you all already have access.
So the people are coming. The people are coming in which door? The
front door.
I'm saying nobody needs to come in the back door except council people.
Oh, okay.
So it needs to be kept locked. If you want me to keep track of the number of people coming in, I can't be at both doors.
Yeah.
But then once the meeting starts and more people come in, Scott, your position will be at the end of the hallway. Would you lock the front door and then have anybody there waiting in their cars in the parking lot, and they'd walk in the back door and up the hallway, and you could step aside in the side hallway and let them pass and say their piece and go back out?
How do they get in if the back door's locked?
Well, that's why I'm asking, because if you have them come around the front, I mean, that's okay too, but they'd have to walk all the way around from their car in the front, and if it's raining or snowing or whatever,
Yeah.
It won't be snowing, but because the way it's set up there, Scott can control everything with that one hallway. Now, at the beginning of the
Yeah.
meeting, we could come in the side door or the front door, but then after that, everything's locked and it's that back door that everybody can sit in their car and come up one at a time. Or if there's a guest that has to speak, they can, like from BFNS, they can sit in the that conference room and wait for their time to speak and then come up there. Or the person that's speaking next can come in the back door, go in the conference room, sit down, and then when they're called, come on up. And you could probably have a couple people in the back room, 6 foot distances also. Just my thought, instead of coming around that front. I mean, if it's nasty weather and everything, they're going to be standing out front there with, everything howling and everything. And then they're going to have to come in and they'll have to walk through the crowd to get to where the podium is.
Right. So we'll just
And
need to switch the doors that are locked, right? Meeting starts, lock the front door, unlock the back door.
Right. And then Scott can control everything in that one passageway. And if you want the deputy that's on duty to even mingle outside, that's fine too. So, what about masks, guys? What are we? You brought that up, Jen.
I'm gonna say no mask for the council because hearing us speak on a live stream or even sometimes I guess in person is tricky sometimes. So I think masks would just make that worse. And we're social distancing the chairs. So my opinion is we don't have to require masks for those that are inside. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Anyone else?
As long as we're all social distancing, that's probably fine. As long as we're not, I don't know. It seems like a lot of places we still ought to wear masks in there because people might have to go to the bathroom or walk by somebody, but not the council if they stay up front, stay 6 foot apart. But I don't know.
Dan or Carla or Reed?
I say make mask optional.
Okay.
Recommended but not required. Maybe as you walk in, once you're seated, you can take your mask off because then we know you're social distanced. But if you get up to move, you're either to go to the restroom or if you're leaving or, then maybe wear them coming in, going out.
Yeah, put it on so you're not breathing on everybody.
I think we should probably have a sign on the door that just says whatever the mask policy is. If it's recommended, not required, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So is everybody on board with the first come, first serve option?
Yep.
And
Yep.
masks being optional? And what else do you need? I know some places take your temperature when you walk in. I feel like that might be a bit much, but
Too much. No.
Okay. Reed, is there anything that we need to do special, like having people sign in when they get there or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can anyone else think of anything that we might need to discuss for returning to in-person meetings?
Other than establish what time the door will be opened. I think that needs to be decided, and so the public is aware
Yeah.
10 minutes till.
Sorry, Stan, can you say that again?
10 minutes till start of the meeting.
10 minutes?
I don't.
What was that, Carla?
I think that.
Can't hear
I
you.
think that's not allowing enough time. Trying to think how to say what I want to say.
Oh, okay.
I just think that's. I don't know that it has to be. If our meeting starts at 7, I don't know that 6:30 would hurt anything, but I think 10 minutes. I mean, just to allow those people in, and for Scott to be sure to, just to make sure everybody's traveled in and seated, and I don't know if they're all lined up. I don't know. I just think 10 minutes is a little short.
I was going to go the opposite. I don't think we need 10 minutes to let 12 people in. But, because if we're just coming in and sitting, I don't know.
How about we split the difference and make it 15?
Well,
Or a round number.
12 seats, it's going to be easy. Well, Scott, what do you think? If you're the one that's letting the 12 people in, I guess it doesn't just have to be Scott. Like, I could go out there, and if it's not those 12 people and there's people that wanted to speak on an agenda item, I could get their information before the doors ever open. And they would know, like, hey, there's only 12 seats. You're not going to get one.
What's Scott saying here?
15's fine with me.
15?
Yes.
Okay, Scott has spoken. 15 minutes before the meeting starts. Doors will open. Any opposition to that?
Are people coming? So people are still coming in the front door.
No.
Yep. 12 people will come in the front door, and then the front door will be locked, and the back door will be unlocked. Did they count off or something? Does that work with everyone?
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Carla, Reed.
Jen, we've had a year. We've had a year of meetings, and I think we've had 2 people call in the year. I wouldn't think just because they're open meetings, we'd have. Of course, there'll probably be in this town. There'll be some big rush up there, but
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
But
yeah,
need to be prepared.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
So.
Better to be prepared and not need it than unprepared and get rushed.
Yeah.
What is the meeting date?
June 15th, 7 p.m.
All right.
So then if Scott gets called away for some reason, then who will take over his duties?
President.
Scott, would you have somebody on duty that night to help you, or?
Well, they would get called away too, though. Like if there was somebody else, I would feel like they would be first to go. So then if Scott got called away, there would be a replacement officer. So do we just make it the council president, or I don't know. We'll have Reed be the attorney and the door bouncer. Whatever they're called. No? Okay.
I think Bridget and I can handle it.
Okay. Bridget
Sounds
has
good.
been voluntold that she will be got back.
I assumed.
Okay.
I just assumed that she would be at the meetings.
I believe so. And maybe that's not something that needs to be decided right now. We can just deal with that if it happens.
Yeah, I think we can figure it out.
Okay. So we'll move on from in-person meetings then. Next on the agenda is the new muffler shop with Marshall Taylor, but we're scratching that item from the agenda actually. So public comment, I have none, and no one
Jen,
on
are you
the
not
The rescue,
American Rescue Plan ordinance? Or are you
guys.
doing that?
Yes, I am. Sorry, back that up. American Rescue Plan. Reed, do you want to explain that?
Sure. Yeah, so we've prepared an ordinance to establish an ARP, Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Grant Fund. So this is upon the direction from the Indiana State Board of Accounts for how money has to be received for any money that comes to the town through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. So basically, we're creating Fund 176, and the ordinance also sets forth what the town can appropriate and use the funds to cover costs for. So those are outlined in the ordinance. There's the four sections that basically are set forth from federal law and from the memorandum from the State Board of Accounts. So we basically just need to approve this ordinance so that we're prepared to receive money when it comes to the town.
Thank you. You don't
And
have
lastly,
to Yep.
The ordinance does require the town council to adopt a plan which provides details for the use of the funds. So that will be something that you're required to do as well.
Yes. And that will take some discussion because, like Reed said, there's stipulations on how the money can be spent. It's like for COVID relief, so there are lots of options, but they have to meet the requirements. So we don't have that plan ready yet. We don't know for sure how much money we're getting yet either. Okay, do you know what ordinance number this is, Reed? I think 8, but
I do not know. Sorry.
okay. Sorry, I had it up and then I closed it. Okay, so I would make a motion to waive the formal reading of ordinance, I think number 8, an ordinance to establish an ARP Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Grant Fund.
I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Stan to waive formal reading of this ordinance. Is there any discussion before we take a roll call vote? Okay, this is to waive formal reading of the ordinance to establish an ARP Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Grant Fund. How do you vote, Ron?
yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I, Jen, vote yes. That passes 4-0. Okay, I make a motion to adopt on first reading the ordinance to establish an ARP Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Grant Fund.
I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Stan to adopt this ordinance on first reading. Is there any discussion before we vote? Okay, this is to adopt on first reading. How do you vote, Ron?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I vote yes, that passes 4-0. Okay. I think that's all we need for that then. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. For this, I did want to mention that we need to document any revenue that we lost during COVID, because some of that ARP money can be used to make up for the lost revenue, and then we'll see how much makes up for lost revenue and how much we have for other things. So we probably need to pay someone to do this. So I would make a motion that we engage Susie Bass for the very specific task of documenting our revenue as needed to comply with the ARP requirements. Nothing more.
I second it.
There's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Stan to engage Susie Bass for that very specific task. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. This is to engage Susie Bass for the very specific task of looking at our revenue and just as we need it to comply with the ARP requirements. That is it. So we'll do a roll call vote. Ron?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I vote yes, that passes 4-0. Okay. Now we'll move on in the agenda. And agenda item number 3, new muffler shop, Marshall Taylor, that has been scratched from the agenda. So number 4, public comments, I have none. And there are no people on the phone to comment. So then lastly, council comments. Does anyone have any comments?
No.
None from Carla. Stan?
Nope.
Ron?
No.
What? Okay, having no other business before us, this meeting is adjourned.
Jen,
Thanks, everyone.
Jen,
Yes.
Jen.
Yep.
Could we revisit the meeting for just a second?
Yeah.
I just looked at my calendar, and I have been subpoenaed to a jury or a criminal trial on June 15th. It is scheduled for 4 o'clock. 90% of the time, these plea before the trial date, but my luck, this will be the 10% that doesn't. So I wanted to bring it to your attention that there could be a potential conflict. So I don't know how you want to address that. You want to play it by ear, or because this is a Tuesday, correct? June 15th?
Yes. Yeah, let's just play it by ear.
Okay.
Do you have to be there in person, or is it a Zoom?
I believe they're back in person.
Okay. Well, let's just, we won't do anything now. We'll just wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Reed, did you have anything further?
Nope.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.